Guido Prods19 asked me about the KSM27, and rather than just answer the question, I'm going to show you how I would select the mic myself. So first of all, if you're listening, try to plug directly into your interface. If you have a headphone extension cable, it's going to give you cross feed and stuff and ruin the listening experience. So the first thing I would do is see if the microphone is on Audio Test Kitchen. It is not. If you're not familiar with Audio Test Kitchen, I would recommend becoming familiar with it because it was created in collaboration with Harman. And if you listen to headphones, Harman has done a lot of research with like Sean Olive and stuff, and that has basically strongly impacted how headphones sound. So for a company that's so influential, you can basically trust them to like measure some mics, right? So the KSM27 is currently discontinued. Like I said, it's not an Audio Test Kitchen. So if we look at the frequency response, we see at 6.8 kilohertz, there's a semi-broad peak to about 4 dB. And then at 13 kilohertz, it's about 3 dB. And then 2 dB up at about 8 or 9, 8.5. So I had already recorded this video and made a mistake reading that graph. But if you compare this microphone, the SM27, which is also, I believe it's also a condenser. I thought I had the manual ready to go. I was going to show you the KSM. Let me see. Let me just pull this up. What is this mic? I thought I had it up. The SM27. Okay. So yeah, find the frequency response, and this is it. It's actually pretty similar to the Beta 27, is it not? No. Beta 27 is a whole different thing. Here's the KSM 27. SM means studio microphone, and KSM means, I don't know, killer studio microphone? But yeah, a lot of people don't know what the SM means. So let's compare the SM27 with the KSM27. The SM27 looks like this, and the KSM27 is discontinued and not on an Audio Test Kitchen. So let's throw the Beta 27 in there as well, which is right here. And that way we can sort of, you know, see what our eyes tell us, and then we'll listen to what we can listen to, which is this one and this one, because we cannot listen to this one. All right, I'll put this one in front. So yeah, 4 dB at around 6.8. Let's 6 or whatever. And then here at around the same spot, there's about the same boost. It's maybe a little flatter on the KSM27, a little more sharp, and a little higher on the SM27. Okay, so let's listen to that right now. All right, let's listen to the SM27 and compare it to the KSM44, which is flatter, much flatter. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a little lower as well. So flatter, broader, lower. Let's compare these three. All right. Remember, we cannot listen to this, so we're going to just listen to what we know. All right. But yeah, this one's not that different. Maybe just a hair brighter on the 27. So here we go. Let's listen to the 27. So what did Audio Test Kitchen measure it as? They're putting it like 5 1/3 at 6, and 3 and 8, 3.8 at 11 or 12. Yeah, like 5.5 at 6. Let's see. Yeah, so Shure is saying it's flatter. Big surprise, right? But You know, that's why people don't trust measurements. But this is this is a pair of measurements. This one's saying over 5, and this one's saying under. Okay, this one's saying 3 at 13. This one's saying something a little different. It's saying about 4. So we're getting a little bit 1 dB higher here from Audio Test Kitchen. You know, which is the truth. Shure has a financial incentive. You know, that's the thing. I'm not saying they're lying, but these guys, all they're gonna make is like an affiliate commission. So why would they lie? They would make everything like razor flat. So whatever. You hear it. Let's compare it to the KSM44, which you can see is 5.3, 3.7. Let's see, 3 3/4. Not quite 2 dB, so like 1 3/4 dB higher with this one. So let's call it 2 dB difference. You really hear it on that guitar, you know, the transients in the guitar. Listen to that on the right side. Hear how that guitar sits a little further back? There you go. That's your 2 dB working for you. Okay, so the KSM27 is going to sound more like the SM27 than it is the KSM44. So, do you like that top end? You know, you should be able to do a lot with EQ. It's just about what you want. You know, let's listen to the voice. That's the other thing, of course, very important to listen to. Let's listen to the sibilance on the voice, like the sh and st. Now, it is much brighter, and I will say that I don't prefer it. Of course, it's 1/3 the price. I don't prefer that. But also, this mic pulls out about a half dB at 225 hertz, okay? The KSM27 sure says it doesn't. Now, we don't have an independent measurement, but okay, you get the idea, right? Try to find some measurements. Make sure your listening environment is good. YouTube videos, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but try to come to Audio Test Kitchen, see what they have. So, presumably these are all lossless files, and they're level matched, or they were, you know, not level matched in post. I think they were at the source, you know, calibrated to be receiving the same volume, the same distance. So any any perception in volume that's different will come down to the frequency response, because you're gonna, if there's more energy here, you're gonna perceive it as louder, things like that. So yeah, try to get some measurements. The Beta 27, it's not gonna sound like this, right? Here's an example of what it's not gonna sound like, and you will notice a difference. So let's compare the 27 to the Beta 27. You'll hear especially what this additional peak is doing up there at the top. You're really hearing this energy right here at 6. So, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you got more like, let's see, what's the bass bump like? Similar bass response. I don't know if you're going to be recording bass instruments. I'm going to assume that you're not if you're looking at a budget mic. So this almost doesn't matter because you're going to filter all that out. So don't listen to the bass. Like, for example, take this Shure, how it filters out the low end by default. That is one thing, actually. That is one thing that we will know about the difference. Oh, this one has a high pass filter as well. Cardioid. So yeah, the 27 and the KSM are both cardioid only. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but of course you need to make sure that it has the polar patterns you want. Cardioid is just standard microphone response. That's the other thing. Self noise on this mic is 14 dB. I think it was 13 on one of these. This one's 9.5 on the SM27. But the KSM44 is like 6 dB or something. So that's another thing you get. You get like an extra 8 or 9 dB self noise. See, look, cardioid is 4 dB. So that's a lot. That's whether that matters is going to come down to your listening environment and your preamps and your, you know, the rest of your track. Are you even going to hear that? Maybe, maybe not. But it is where part of your money goes. So the low frequency switch, which is a high pass filter, you have 6 and 18, similar to the KSM44. It also has a high pass filter on it. Minus 6 dB per octave at 115 hertz. You know, a little sharper one at 80. So like a chill one at 100 and a sharp one at 80. And that's pretty much... I lost my place. Where is the filter? This one not have a filter? The SM27? It does, yeah. Same thing. Same filter. And a pad. 15 dB pad. And this one does too. So these are actually pretty similar. The KSM, you know, this is probably like the modern version of it. The frequency response is pretty much the same. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that. I didn't research that, but if you, that's something to search, you know. Is the SM27 the modern version of the KSM27? So do you like the way that this one sounds? The SM27? Let's compare it to the KSM32, which is also very popular. You'll find a ton of reviews on this, and this one has like a very conspicuously smooth top-end response. Like, I don't know. That looks smooth to me. It doesn't look like a real frequency response, but look here, see? We got a dip here. So let's see if we can hear that. Let's compare the 27 to the 32. A lot more honk on that. A lot more honk. That is more pleasing to me, you know. A lot of like voiceover actors swear by this microphone. Some dude like made a whole homage video to it. This KSM32. You know, it's KSM27. Is it playing in the same league? If you ask me, no. But that's why they're different microphones, you know. So, okay, to answer your question, for $100, dude, of course, if it's your only mic, you're still getting like a low frequency response. You know, in contrast to something like a SM7B, where you have a high pass filter that you can't get rid of because it has a transformer. I think that's the reason why it does that. SM57 is the same. And that's all I used for the first 10 years of my recording life, more or less. Because I didn't have to record bass, you know. I have basses. You can use a synth. You know, once you get into bass and all this stuff down here, your room acoustics matter a lot, so it's almost better that you don't even get it 9 times out of 10. Okay? So the answer is what I recommended. For $100, yes. Or whatever you're going to pay for it. But if, well, I don't know, you know, how much is the SM27 going for these days? I don't know the price. Okay. You know, does it sound great to you? Can you even tell the difference? You might not be able to. Okay. So for $100, go for it. If not, then with this, you're going to get a warranty. No one's going to have slobbered on it. It says $299, but Shure tends to have sales twice a year for like 25% off or something. So that's like $75 on this mic. You know, you might be able to get it for you know, $225 or something like that. So $225, $100, basically the same mic, high pass filter, pad. You know, so you get switches you can flip. Those are always fun. How often you can use a pad? I don't know. You didn't tell me what your use case was. So yeah, buy it if you want to, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's how I would decide, though. Okay? Thanks for watching. Join the Hexitos newsletter to get info like this in your inbox.